The RPG key for Aperture uses a little bit different approach for customizing your keyboard. In Aperture, we can activate all of the sliders, all of the native Aperture shortcuts, and any of your favorite presets that you can find right here. But I wanted to explain a couple of things to you and then show you how to work it. First of all, you need to create, for presets, you need to create a folder called RPG, and then basically the RPG key will grab one of these presets, whichever order they're in. Okay. As far as your sliders, you're going to need to basically tell it how much up or how much down you want the keys to do with each keystroke. So let me show you what I mean. So we're going to go into the RPG application, and we're going to go up to the advanced menu, and we're going to select the layout modifier for the native keys, because for this demo I'm using my native Mac keyboard to drive Aperture. So I'm going to select Aperture here in the drop-down menu, and I'm going to go ahead and select the F1 key. So for F1, I'm going to just do a search for preset, okay, on the right hand side, and what you're going to see is that all of my presets have shown up. So if I select preset 1 here, it's going to grab the first preset in that folder. I'm going to select my Apple key, and now I'm going to do preset 2, and I'm going to select my Alt key, and now I'm going to do preset 3. So what you'll see here is that I've turned my F1 key into a grabber. It grabs 1, 2, and 3 of my favorite presets by holding down the Apple key or the Alt key. Okay, get the idea? So 1, hit the key alone, it grabs preset, the first preset. You can put any function you want that's shown here in the available function drop-down menu on any key, and every key can do 3 things. But if you want to use the macros for preset RPG 01 through 24, you want to just have those presets in this subfolder while you're in Aperture. If we wanted to do exposure or temperature or tint, let me show you how that's done. So we're going to select exposure. So we've got a number of different options for exposure up and exposure down. So on the number 1 key, I might want this to be a really big adjustment or a really big change to my exposure slider. So I'm going to say exposure up 5, and then I'm going to hit my Apple key and do exposure down 5. So this is big up and big down on my exposure slider. Now, if I wanted to do the 2 key, I could do something smaller, like more of a fine tune. So maybe I'll do exposure up 1 and exposure down 1. So I've got a really big adjustment for key number 1 and a really small adjustment for key number 2. The same can be done for all of the sliders in Aperture. We'll just show you. We've got temperature, tint, exposure, recovery, black point, brightness, contrast, definition, saturation, vibrancy, and a few others. But again, if you download the trial and you just search through the available functions, you're going to see there's about 800 or more available functions here that you can put on any key on the RPG key. And remember, you can toggle between your native keyboard assignments and your RPG keyboard assignments just by double tapping the control key on your keyboard. So let me show you what I mean. Here I am in Aperture, and I'm going to just double tap. It's going to ask for a password, because I haven't put it in for quite a while. Hit enter. And it takes about 3 or 4 seconds for the RPG key functionality to wake up. But once it's awake, you're good to go. So here we go. We now have it awake and says exposure 0.56. If I hit it again it's going to go up. And now if I hold down the Apple key, it's going to go down. But now if I hit the number 2 key, it's really small adjustments. So I'm going up by now just by 1/10 of a stop with each click. You can't see my keyboard. So I've been pressing here pressing the number 1 key, goes up by a lot, but if I press the number 2 key, it goes up by a small amount. So I think you get the idea. Okay, that's how we use the RPG key system with Aperture 3.